and welcome to Mini Trek, a show where I explain the plot of a Star Trek episode in 5 minutes. Today we're watching the Next Generation Season 1, Episode 12, Data Law. Start the countdown, let's go. The Enterprise is pulling up to the planet where Data was discovered, and Picard wants... Whoa! Previous! Picard wants to make a stop there so they can figure out what happened to the colony of people that used to live there. Seeming to forget that comm badges exist, Wesley goes to Data's room in person to tell him he's wanted on the bridge and catches him in the middle of sneeze practice.
Chew! Have you got a cold?
A cold what?
Classic. Riker gathers his team and they beam down to investigate. Everything on this planet is dead. It's pretty boring, actually. Data takes them to the spot where he was discovered and Geordi finds a hidden door. The team rolls into the secret lab and find these creepy drawings on the wall. Look, I'm gonna go into this now to save time, but this is a pretty stupid plot point. The colony was wiped out by a big crystal that flies through space and sucks up organic matter to turn it into energy. And what they're telling us here is that when it rolled up and started killing everyone, the kids of the colony just sat down to do some drawings and then stopped to display them on the wall.
Sure, Jan.
Next, they find a build-your-own data kit and decide to take it home. Data booty. Riker asks if the new android has all of Data's...
All your parts?
Has he been speaking to Tasha Yar?
You are fully functional, aren't you?
Of course, but
How fully?
in every way, of course.
Data shows Beverly where his secret off switch is, and they get to work operating on the new android by opening up Data to check what should go where. The android wakes up and announces that he was created to replace Data, who was imperfect, and says his name is Law.
You're referring to him as it. Suggests that I too fit into the category of a thing.
I see your point. My apologies.
For some reason, the crew take the android they just met up to the bridge and start teaching it how to fly the ship. There's gotta be some regulations about that, right?
You will find that there are many rules on starships that must be learned.
The second Data gets him alone, he starts to act a little bit more villainous.
I have more than I've dreamed possible, brother.
Who doesn't love an evil twin story? Tasha and Worf, meanwhile, have been tracking Law's movements on the ship so they can tell Data what he's been up to.
You're watching everything he does, Data? Is that the act of a brother?
You guys literally just found him and know nothing about him! Back in his quarters, Law hands Data some totally not poisoned champagne, saying they should follow the old human custom and toast their discovery of each other. Once Data's unconscious, Law explains that he was the one who got the colonists killed by summoning the big crystal.
Can you imagine its gratitude when I give it the life on this vessel?
And then he goes to do it again. Worf notices that Data's communicating on a subspace channel, which is suspicious. Riker decides to send little Wesley to investigate. Law, pretending to be Data, tells Wesley that Law attacked him and had to be turned off, but Wesley notices Law's trademark facial tic and slowly backs out of the room. Law uses a... I don't know what this is called, so I'm going to call it a sonic screwdriver to give Data his same facial tic. Up on the bridge, the crystal entity rolls in.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Wesley's the only one who hears that. He decides to speak up about it, but Picard and Riker call him out for being rude.
You will show the proper respect. I will accompany you down there to make certain of
They
it.
go down to Data's quarters to check on Law, and Riker is convinced by the facial twitching, so he and Wesley leave, and Law kicks Data in the head. Riker goes back to tell Picard what they saw.
Or is it Lore, pretending to be Data and faking it all?
They remember the crystal entity is out there and go to red alert when Data arrives back on the bridge. Data asks to talk to the crystal entity and tells it to back off.
Now I call that communicating.
Then Data says he's going to go and beam something over to the crystal entity to prove they are a threat to it. Law's plan being that the ship's shields will have to lower and the crystal entity will be able to swoop in. Wesley stands up to protest again and an internet meme is born.
But
Shut up, Wesley!
Shut up, Wesley.
Doctor.
And since I am finished here, sir, may I point out that...
Shut up, Wesley.
Request permission to return to my quarters.
Agreed. Doctor, go with him.
You're putting me off the bridge.
Worf gets into the turbo lift with Law and immediately gets his ass handed to him. Meanwhile, Wesley drags Dr. Crusher back to Data's quarters so they can wake him up. Then they go to the cargo transport to interrupt Law's dastardly
How
plan.
sad, dear brother. You make me wish I were an only child.
Data's smack talk could use some work. Law threatens Wesley
Are you prepared for the kind of death you've earned, little man?
and awakens the mama bear, which does no good because Law snatches her phaser and threatens her out of the room with it. When he shoots her in the arm for good measure, Data rushes in and the android battle this was all gearing up to begins! Data throws Lure onto the transport pad and Wesley beams him into outer space. The crystal entity flies off and all is well. Clearly, Picard owes Wesley an apology after he was right about everything and saved the whole ship. But he just sends him back to work without even mentioning it. The end. That man's chin is naked.